live in this world of digital media now. Physical ownership is dying, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not trying to get a cat to bark like a dog here. But I need to point it out. Once upon a time, buying something was so simple. You'd go to the shop, you buy your item, you take it home, it's yours, beautifully done. But now digital ownership has turned into this weird hostage negotiation situation where you buy something thinking that it belongs to you because you spent your hard-earned money on it. But then years later, the company turns around and goes,
actually, that doesn't actually belong to you. We retain the rights to it.
Imagine going into a shop and you find a really lovely yellow toaster and you go,
oh, I like this toaster. I'm gonna buy it.
And the person at the till goes,
lovely choice, sir. Brilliant toaster. Just to let you know, though, once you've bought this toaster, we retain the right to turn off the function that allows you to toast your bread. It will look like a nice toaster and it will be lovely for you because you've bought it, you know, but
eventually at some random point, we will actually turn off that feature.
You'd probably stare back at them like they just told you to shit in your own hands and give them a round of applause. Because you wouldn't buy the toaster, would you? Logically, you wouldn't turn around and go,
that's a good idea. Here's my money. Let me buy something off you that actually doesn't last me.
No, you think that's bullshit and go look at the next product. Because that's not a purchase, that's a threat with a receipt. And that's essentially why Stop Killing Games exists. Stop Killing Games is this beautiful bunch of nerds that all came together for a good cause. A collective of gamers, consumers, legal minds, and deeply irritated people who simply believe that when you buy a game, the company should not be able to remotely murder it later or at any point. Essentially, the movement is trying to change consumer law around digital ownership, because right now the line between buying a product and temporarily accessing a server has become disgustingly blurry, and companies love blurry because blurry is where the bullshit lives. Corporate greed has turned parts of the gaming industry into this digital slaughterhouse with Wi-Fi. They're not selling us games anymore, they're farming us. They're treating gamers like confused little cash cows in gaming headsets, pumping us with unfinished, live service slop, battle passes, skins, deluxe editions, XP boosts, early access, late access, middle access, or whatever nonsense they can staple together on a loading screen or a battle pass and shove down your throat. They grab us by the udders, our udders obviously being our wallets, and milk and milk and milk and milk and proper milk, like squeeze after squeeze after squeeze after squeeze, till we've got nothing else left in us. When you go on a digital storefront and see the button that says buy now, what do you think that means? Well, if you're completely sane, because you must be because you're watching this video, you think to yourself that means, oh, I'm going to purchase this item and then it's going to belong to me. I'll have 100% ownership to it and I can do what I want with it. You don't think it's the publisher saying to you,
purchase temporary and use it till we tell you to fuck off and run away with your money, do you?
But that's exactly the problem. You think I bought the game, therefore I own the game, therefore I should have access and rights to play the game non-stop till the end, and the end being when I choose to stop playing. And in 2026, that sentence somehow sounds like a legal revolution, which is insane. The whole issue makes you ask the bigger question, what does it exactly mean to own something in the big 26? When almost everything is digital, connected, patched, licensed, streamed, downloaded, authenticated, and quietly controlled by companies who make your purchases disappear like a magician with a cocaine problem.
Watch closely, I'm gonna make this vanish.
Woo! Then he just snorts it away. That's not magic, that's theft with jazz hands. Now, to be fair
though. To be fair though, what?
To be fair though, what?
For multiplayer games and online servers, it obviously makes sense. I'm not stupid. I don't drink a Red Bull and expect to fly. If I'm playing online against other people, obviously there needs to be a server. The game needs to connect to players. Fine, makes sense, no issues there whatsoever. But for single player games, why? Why does a solo experience need to check into a server like my personal game is on parole? It's like trying to make an English breakfast tea and a kettle won't boil till you prove you're British. I'm trying to make a fucking brew, not prove that I'm a British citizen. Why the fuck do I need to do the two? It don't make sense. That isn't technology, that's control. Because if a game requires a server and the publisher controls the server, then the publisher controls the life of that game. And once the game stops making enough money, that gives the publisher every thought in the world to go,
oh well, I'm not making enough money now, so bye bye guys, game's over.
They can just shut it down whenever they feel like it. That is exactly why The Crew by Ubisoft was such a huge turning point. You see, The Crew was an always online open world racing game by Ubisoft, where gamers competed to be the best racist. People bought it, people played it, people spent time on it. they built progress, and they probably spent a little extra money too, other than when they purchased the game. Let's be fair, majority of players on an online game will probably spend more money on the online features. And because the crew had no offline mode, it didn't just lose online matchmaking, it stopped existing as a playable product altogether. Gone. Deleted from reality. People lost all the progress that they had made. They'd lost out on all the money that they'd spent overall purchasing the game and all their extra purchases. But we as gamers, we can't just stand there and take that, can we? No, of course not. We have to rise above it. As gamers, we're smart, crafty, furry enjoyers. No, we had to make a stand. We had to look again, because we weren't going to settle for all this bullshit that a publisher was just going to push on us, were we? And that is why the crew became the perfect legal test, because it showed all the absurdity clear as day and allowed us to call out companies on the bullshit that they feed us. See, Stop Killing Games did something really fucking smart. They built a consumer rights database. They began looking into laws country by country. They started asking the question, what consumer protection laws already exist? And then also, what rules are publishers potentially violating? You know, where can this fight actually be won? And the two biggest battlegrounds became France and the European Union. Because, mon ami, when it comes to consumer protection, the French and the EU, ooh la la, they do not fuck around. I swear, I'm spamming the French accent. France has really strong consumer rights laws. They give such a fuck about people when it comes to purchasing products, especially with misleading practices, planned obsolescence, and the basic idea that a product should actually deliver the thing it was advertised to do. So the legal action against Ubisoft in France isn't just about one racing game with a bunch of gamers competing to be the best racist. Yes, I made that joke twice. It's about forcing the court to look at something bigger. Can a company sell you a game like it's a product, market it like it's a product, price it like it's a product, and then later hide behind some small print that says, actually, you only had temporary access to this game? That is the legal battleground. And if the French court sides with consumers, the domino effect would be fucking enormous. Publishers would have to rethink how they sell and retire their games, refunds, offline access, or at least a very clear end-of-life plan. And honestly, that is more than completely reasonable. No one is arguing that we need to keep servers running until the fucking sun explodes or we use up all the water in the ocean to cool these servers down. We are simply asking that when official support ends, can we just have offline solo support? This could be an offline patch, local functionality, allowing private server support, anything. A really fucking easy technical solution to a completely massive legal problem. But this fight isn't just happening in the French courts. Stop Killing Games also helped push this with the European Citizens Initiative, or ECI, called Stop Destroying Video Games. And this isn't some weak internet petition where a man signs up 12 times and calls himself Goku Smith or some dumb shit like that. This is an official EU democratic mechanism. To succeed, it needed over 1 million verified statements of support from verified EU citizens, as in real people with real details, with a real EU confirming citizenship. Not anyone from anywhere else could sign this. These were real checks being done on these people, and they did it. Over 1.29 million verified statements of support, which means that the European Commission now has to examine the issue formally and respond. Now, it's important to note that this doesn't automatically mean a new law appears overnight. The EU don't work like wizards, unfortunately. They work like snails with organized briefcases pulling up to court. They're good, they just take their time. It means the Commission must engage with the demands, examine it, and decide whether legislative action should actually follow through. But even that in itself is massive. It's a huge win, or well, a massive step forward in this massive battle, because this issue has now moved from Reddit posts and YouTube essays into courts, parliaments. Fucking hell, the whole European institution is considering this now. But even on the outside, the point still matters, because this is bigger than just games. Games are the warning sign, in my opinion. This could potentially go outward into other situations and areas of life. If companies can sell you a game and then remotely deactivate it later whenever they feel like it, where does that logic stop? Smart appliances, cars, software tools, digital tools, films, music, medical devices. You just have to think to yourself, where else can they push it? It's just insane how the gaming world is essentially giving you these stream-like services with the words buy now and then just telling you to piss off whenever they're done with it. It's crazy. I don't even understand how they get away with shit like this. Like, think about it. Are we heading down a future where your fridge says cooling requires online authentication? As I said earlier, your toaster says toaster server unavailable, so you can no longer toast your bread. Your car says driving is discontinued because your driver has had too much to drink. Actually, I think that one makes sense. That one should be an actual thing. Because once ownership becomes temporary access, consumers lose power. And the companies that gain the ability to rewrite the meaning of purchase after the money has already changed hands, it's just crazy. But this is why Stop Killing Games matters. It's not just about the crew. It's not just taking a shot at Ubisoft. It's about whether digital purchases should be meaning something. It's about whether companies can sell permanence and then deliver expiry. They don't make sense. So yeah, the French might genuinely be one of our last lines of hope, which is honestly ridiculous but beautiful. We're really leaving this in the hands of one of the most known people or famous countries for revolution and resistance against a higher power. And I'll be real, refusing to accept this nonsense is brilliant because it helps us draw a line in the sand as consumers. Or more accurately, a line in the sand against terms and conditions. That's all I have to say. So, I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments and thoughts down below because I will definitely be tracking this myself. And I guess to sign out on this video, stop killing games, you fucking pricks.